I always liked history, and that's where I began to find out about historic preservation by, oh, I can combine architecture and history. I met my now wife. She was going to school out here, so we decided I would just relocate out to Boston. And then I applied and was hired for preservation architect for the Landmarks Commission back in 1987.
Behind the scenes, you get the reaction sometimes. He was so good at holding it in and being really cool during the meeting, but you would always understand that you could talk with him afterwards, and he would definitely let his feelings be known.
I had been with the VRA a little bit almost 21 years. The thing I liked the most about it was working with people, being able to solve problems and help people, whether it's colleagues or applicants. Probably the hardest part is dealing with people. Not everyone is respectful, so sometimes they can be ornery.
There are very few people in Boston, in my mind, who are able to do what Michael does, which is understand how architecture can be the medium by which you express your values about the past, but also the aspirations about your future.
As we look through the whole city, you can see the various eras that this city was built. To say that everything has to stop on this day or anything new needs to look like something of an earlier era is not doing justice to the history of the city and the development. But how do you build a building to fit into like Back Bay or Beacon Hill or the South End and make it still be of its time, but still have strings that begin to tie it into the neighborhood? What they originally submitted was a brighter red, and it would change color as the sun hit it. But we felt that the red one may have been a little bit too bold and found this copper color that we thought was more in keeping with its surroundings.
Michael is a mentor to everybody, whether you report directly to him or not, because he just has this incredibly collaborative approach to his work.
The Central Artery Project, the idea was to sort of reconnect the city. And I think people realized that the Central Artery divided the waterfront in the North End from the city. I was one of the staff members to represent the Landmarks Commission. 75% of the parcels had to be open. So that sort of led to the whole Greenway as we know it today. Looking at how the architecture evolved along the artery, and this is an example where a new building went up when the artery still existed, and you can see that it basically turned its back on the artery because there was elevated highway about 30 feet above. Having the artery come down and go underground really opened up the city and reconnected the city. So you can see here, two buildings, when the artery came down, understood the value that's now been given to them, because now they can look out on the Greenway and towards the harbor. I also was involved on the whole Harrison-Albany plan, which basically led to a new development like the Ink Block. The Herald was leaving. A lot of the other industrial buildings had moved away, and it was sort of this wasteland between the South End and downtown. We listened to the community, listened to the development community, and came up with a plan that gave the development community enough floor area, enough height that they could get some profit out of it, but also allow the community to get open space, new street connections, and be able to guide that development and see the neighborhood that's grown up. To me, it's pretty exciting. So planning can work. Being on the commission when we approved the Embrace, the only thing I would ask is the people that disapprove it, that they at least acknowledge that some people will like it and just chill. To me, it was sort of like a full circle that I started out working with the commission and then I sort of finished. Just watching the children sort of interact with the piece, being part of that scene that, you know, was something that I won't forget.
My first week here, I was sitting in my office and I saw Michael go by with a trolley full of chairs. And then a little while later, I saw him go by with a trolley with tables and then pizzas, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And that was my introduction to the importance of fantasy football at our office and how he organized that every year, and it's a really important social aspect for the office.
It was funny, I was just talking to someone who had just been hired a couple weeks after I retired, and I said that this job you're going to find is going to be probably the most rewarding job you will have. The fact that you'll be contributing to shaping the city. And I think that's what kept me working here for over 30 years in this building.
First, congratulations to Michael. This is a well-deserved honor. Maybe 10 years after we started working together, that we both happened to be at work after hours. All of a sudden, I'm hearing these wonderful, sweet Grateful Dead tunes drifting through my door, down the hall, and I am baffled. And I, of course, go out to investigate and discover Michael Cannizzo, like myself, is a Grateful Dead aficionado. So Michael, great to work with you. Congratulations. Miss you much already.